الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى أهله وأصحابه أجمعين. ما بعد. Tablighi Jamaat teaching of Shirk in the book Fadhaa'il Hajj, compiled by Abu Muawiyah as-Salafi. All praise to Allah, praise Him, seek His help and forgiveness, and seek refuge in Allah and the Most High from the evils of our own selves and from our bad deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can misguide him, and whosoever Allah misguides, there is none to guide such an individual. I believe that there's no true God worthy of worship, worthy of being worshipped except Allah alone, without partner or associate. I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His slave and messenger. May Allah the Exalted bestow His praise and blessings on the final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his family, noble companions, and all those who follow him to proceed. That the most truthful speech is the Quran, the word of Allah, and the best of is that of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the worst of fears is in this religion is of ours are the innovations, and every innovation is a bid'ah, and every bid'ah is misguidance, and every misguidance is in the hellfire. Alhamdulillah, this is the third paper in the series of exposing the teachings of Shirk and bid'ah in the book Fadhaa'il Amal, also known as the Tablighi Nisab. I would like to remind my brothers and sisters that the intent of this paper is not to curse anyone. The order of Fadhaa'il Amal is dead, and is affairs with Allah the Mighty and Majestic. The real intent of this research is to warn all the Muslims, all Muslims of the deviations in Aqidah, Ibadah, manhaj that have crept into the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through fabricated narrations and false stories of awliya, which unfortunately forms nearly 80% of Fadhaa'il Amal. It is to warn and call the Muslims at the same time to live by godly partnership, to correct the Aqidah, and to hold on to the clear path that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu left upon us. Anything else is total destruction in this world and in the hereafter. Very Allah the Most High has said in the Quran, meaning of which, and whoever contradicts and possesses the Messenger of Muhammad sallallahu of the right path has been shown clearly to him, and follows other than the believers way, we shall keep him in the path he has chosen, and ban him in hell. What an evil destination! In these people we will that is Surah Nisa, verse 115. In this way we will concentrate on Fadhaa'il Hajj, virtues of Hajj. This is the final chapter in volume 2 of Fadhaa'il Amal. It also contains the most awful and horrendous teachings of major shirk. Any reader will be shocked to read and the narrations that the author Muhammad Zakari Kandalavi has brought out, which are nothing but plain Hinduism, Qadianism, and paganism, and seek refuge in Allah the Most High. The great Sheikh Al-Hadid, the so-called know of Allah and pivot of the world, goes at length and explaining the virtues of striking to the Sunnah by sticking to the Sunnah, but he himself failed to practice what he preached. And unfortunately, Kandavi has combined all the major deviations that has struck in this Ummah in his book, from distorting the meanings of the attributes of Allah to preaching major shirk and innovations in its worst forms. Fadhaa'il Amal, without doubt, is the most false, fabricated and shirk storybook of our times. Why did not Zakaria Kandari stop where our Salafus Salih stopped? Why were the narrations not sufficient for him when they were sufficient for the first generation? Why did not the Sheikh Hadith of the Obandir follow the authentic narrations in Bukhari, Muslim other collection of Hadith? Why in the name of love and Ibadah the tenets of Sufism and Hinduism are being propagated? Why is the Aqid of the Rafidi, Shia, being smuggled on the gears of Sunnah? And why is Shirk taught and Tawheed suppressed? We seek an answer from our brothers who are involved in Jamaat Tablighi. Sheikh Al-Hadith Kandalawi Sahib himself says, it's important to note that whenever I quoted a hadith without mentioning the name of the book, it should be deemed to have been taken from one of the 5 books, viz. Al-Mishkat, Shara Ilya Al-Ulum, Ilya Ulumuddin, Ihya Ulumuddin. You could not find a better collection. Why are not say Bukhari, say Muslim, or any other collection of narrations were chosen by the Muhaddith? It will be beneficial to know what the scholars have said about this book over the years. At-Turtoshi died 520 AH. He said in writing to Abdullah ibn Mudaffar about Al-Ghazali, when he wrote his book, he called it Ihya Ulumuddin, and talked about the science of the state of the things and ways of the Sufis by in it, but he was neither self-acquainted with them nor well informed about them, so he fell headlong, and thus did not fall either among the scholars of the Muslims or within the condition of the Sufi as ascetics. He filled this book with lies. With lies upon the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I do not know of any book upon the surface of the earth which attributes more lies to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam than this one. He molded it with the opinions of the philosophers and concepts held in the Rasail Ikhwani Sufa, هنا the Ikhwan Sufa are people who regard prophethood as a level that can be acquired, and the prophet is in their view no more than a noble person with excellent character who avoided what is ignoble and took hold of his own soul until he had it under control, so that no desire overcame it, no bad manners overtook it. Then he took control of nature with those manners. Al-Mazri died 56 Hijri. Al-Hafid Dahabi says in Sahih Alam Nubala 19/340, and Imam Muhammad ibn Ali al-Mazri as-Saqili speaks about Ilya in a way that shows his prominence as an Imam. He says, there have been repeated requests to know our position regarding the book called Ihya Ulumuddin, and I said that the opinions of people differ about it. A group seeks to populate it and stick blindly to it. That a group warns the people against it and causes them to flee from it, and a group who ban it. The people of the East have also written to me, asking about it, and I have not previously read except parts of it. So if Allah extends my life, I shall spend time upon it and remove the confusion the people had. Know that I have seen the student of it, and all of them relate to me a part of its condition, which take the place of seeing with one's own eyes. So I will briefly mention its condition, that of his book, and some of the position of the people of Tawheed and of the Sufis, and the people of illusions and philosophy, since this book wavers between all of those. Al-Qadiyya died 544 Hijriya, he said, and Sheikh Abu Hamid al-Ghazali possessed a pregnant information and in producing shocking works. He went beyond bounds in the way of Sufism and devoted himself in supporting them, and became a scholar of that and wrote well-known books on that. He refers to Al-Ihya as shown by what comes after. He was reproached for part of that, and the minds of the Ummah came to have a low opinion of him. Allah knows that which is silent about him, and here in the West, the order of the Sultan ruler and the ruling of the scholars, that it should be banned and kept away from, so that was done. Ibn al-Jawzi died 597 Hijriyas. He says in Al-Muntazim 9/169-170. He began to write the book Al-Ihya al-Quds and finished it in Damascus. However, he wrote it upon the way of the Sufis and did away with the rules of fiqh in it. For example, regarding a fasting of honor and fighting the self, he mentioned that a man wished to efface his own honor, so he entered a public bath and put on someone else's clothes. Then he put his own clothes on top of them and went out walking slowly so that the people could catch him. So they took them back from him and called him the thief of the public baths, mentioning such things as this for followers to run from is disgusting, because it's just so according to fiqh. When there is a guardian for public baths and a person steals, his hand is cut off, and it's not permissible for a Muslim to offer an action which they will be sinful if they did it. He mentioned that a man brought some meat and found that his soul felt shy to carry it to his house, so he tied it around his neck and walked to his house. This is also totally repugnant, and there are many similar things for which this is not the place. I have gathered together mistakes of the book and called it, and to the living regarding the errors of Al-Ihya, and I have pointed some of them out in my book, Talbis Iblis. Also, he mentions in the book of marriage that Aisha said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu, you are the one who claims that you are the Messenger of Allah. That is impossible. That is impossible. Verily, the reason for his turning away from the account of fiqh in that which he quotes is that he accompanied the Sufis and regarded the opinion to be the goal, and he said, indeed, I have taken the way from Abu Ali al-Fardamadi, and I follow what he directed me to as regard daily worships, and continued remembering Allah until I passed those difficulties and became burdened with heavy stacks, and I did not attain that which I sought. And further, there are many other scholars of Al-Sunnah who have strongly read these books and its likes, but can derive text from it extensively. Is this not a deviation? And we call all the Muslims to Islam, not the Islam of a group or any Jamaat or to any personality, but we call you to Islam, where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu left us, where the night is like its day. He left us on the straight path, but Shaitan took us to bad on the left and the right. The Shaitan amongst the men and jinn took the Muslim to those crooked path at the head is a bigger devil calling to the fire. From Abdullah ibn Mas'ud who said, the Messenger of Allah said, the Messenger of Allah drew a line for us. Then he said, this is the path of Allah. Then he drew lines from its right and its left. Then he said, these are scattered lines. Upon each of them is a devil calling to it. Then he said, and verily this is my straight path, so follow it and do not follow the other path, because they will separate you from his path. Surah Al-An'am, related by Nisai, Aywa number 184, and Ahmad 1 stroke 435, and this wording is by him. It is also related by Darimi 1 stroke 67 68, and At-Tabari in Jami al-Bayan 8 stroke 65. It was authenticated by Sheikh Salim al-Hilali in Basra in Durush Sharaf, page 82. It is the worst disease today. Every Muslim must attach himself to a party or personality, making taqlid and trading his intellect for no gain. The agenda of the party is placed even above the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the word of the leader is final. Anyone opposing it is expelled and ostracized. How can we establish the Sharia of Allah when we don't even know it? All the groups have a hate knowledge. They don't call to it, and neither do they instruct their followers to seek it. Every group today claims to be working to establish the law of Allah on earth, but each group claims the other to be jahil and misguided. How can, in the midst of such multiple parties, groups and sects, achieve unity of the Muslims? What is the solution to bringing us into one brotherhood? Allah, the All-Wise, has said in the Quran, meaning of which, and hold fast together the hope of Allah, and do not be divided. And remember the favor of Allah upon you, in that you are once enemies to one another, but He joined your hearts together, so that by His grace you become brothers. Surah Al-Imran. Indeed, this ummah of yours is a single ummah, and I am your Lord, so worship me alone. And He has united their believers' hearts. If you had spent all that is in the earth, you could not have united their hearts, but Allah has united them. Certainly, He is the Almighty Always. And how is this joining of heart be achieved? What are the means of achieving this miracle that is possible only with Allah the Most High? By the example of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what He said about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is who sent among the latter ones as a messenger, Muhammad, from among themselves, reciting to them His verses, purifying them from the field of disbelief and polytheism, and teaching them the book, this Quran, Islamic laws and Islamic jurisprudence, and Al-Hikmah, As-Sunnah, legal ways, orders, acts of worship. It is of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and verily they had been before and in manifest era. We can only bring the Muslim together through tafsiyah wa tarbiyah, purification and cultivation. If the Sharia of Allah can join 100 hardened tribes of 14,000 years ago and make them into one brotherhood, why can't the same happen today with hundreds of parties? But this education involves exposing the innovators, their figureheads and their books. So it is to warn all Muslims of their deviation, so that they save themselves and their families from the evil, and to return to the Jamaat. The Jamaat that the Sahaba were upon, which today is best embodied by those who are on the Salafi manhaj, and all praise be to Allah, the one worthy of praise. Following the principles of Tasfiyah wa Tarbiyah, this is continuing effort, inshallah, to expose the books of Jamaat Tablighi, headed by Fadhaa'il, and I hope that it becomes a source of guidance for any Muslim who reads it, and in the footsteps of the noble Imam, teacher, defender of the Sunnah. Al-Barbahari died 310 Hijri. I use his noble statement that the purpose of writing of this paper is, perhaps Allah will bring a confused person out of his confusion, or a innovator out of his innovation, or a misguided one out of his misguidance, and he may be saved through it. Reading through Fadhaa'il Amal, it is difficult to decide where to start from the ta'wil of the sifat of Allah, or open teachings of grave worship, the above the prophet predecessors of the awliya, lies on the Sahaba, or worshipping the awliya themselves. But as we read, we will have some uniformity, inshallah, in the interpretation and not an organisms. Before we actually dive into Fadhaa'il Amal, let us take heed from the following poor narrations. Abu Hurairah, that the Messenger of Allah said, "It's sufficient to render a man a liar that he narrates everything he has," reported by a Muslim. And he also narrated from Allah's Messenger said, "They will come at the end of time, the Dajjal's liars, who will come to you with the hadith that neither you yourself nor your forefathers will have heard of it. So beware of them, lest they cause you to go astray and be put to trial."